On a cold, snowy night in New York City, Spider-Man finds himself reluctantly teaming up with Wolverine. It's 11:15 p.m., and Spider-Man, shivering in his costume, complains about the freezing weather. Wolverine brushes it off, telling him, "Quit your whining, bub," because their task won't take long. When Spider-Man questions what exactly they're doing, Wolverine cryptically says he needs his help and reminds Spider-Man of his earlier promise to be there for him. Spider-Man hesitantly agrees, but recalls a previous snowy misadventure involving Mayan ninjas that ended pretty badly for him. Wolverine, amused, dismisses it with a half-hearted apology and casually suggests grabbing a drink to kill time. Though skeptical about Wolverine's choice of a sketchy bar, Spider-Man reluctantly agrees, admitting his hands are freezing. As they prepare to head inside, Spider-Man notices Wolverine starting to change out of his costume. Spider-Man protests, explaining that he can't do the same. If they're both in costume, they're a team. If he's alone in costume, he's a jerk. Wolverine then tells him, "Then take it off." "I won't tell." Spider-Man tries to explain himself, saying, "You don't understand." To which Wolverine responds, "No, you're scared, I get it." Spider-Man continues, telling Wolverine that he isn't scared, but he would be in serious trouble if certain people found out his identity. As they walk into a bar, a man notices Spider-Man and asks, "Is that freaking Spider-Man?" His friend, equally surprised, responds, "You're kidding me." Wolverine orders a bottle of Canadian whiskey. The man confronts them. "We got a problem here, gentlemen?" Wolverine, unfazed, asks him back, "I don't know, bub. We got a problem?" The man, upset, says there's a problem if Spider-Man thinks he can just walk into this bar. Spider-Man tries to speak up, but Wolverine quickly intervenes, saying, He's just dressed for a birthday party. You don't have to worry about him." The man, still confused, asks if Spider-Man is a clown. Wolverine, playing along, confirms, "Yeah, that's right. He's a clown." Spider-Man, now a bit embarrassed, jokingly says, "Hear that, everybody? I'm a clown. No problem here." Another person in the bar tells the man to let it go, as they're celebrating. The bartender then asks the Wolverine, "Is he funny, the clown?" Wolverine responds, He thinks he is." As they sit down, Spider-Man comments that the man earlier was clearly looking for a fight, and they might have chosen the wrong bar. Wolverine points out that guys like that make it the right bar in his book. Spider-Man wonders why exactly he even needed to meet Wolverine tonight. Wolverine reassures him that it can wait and tells him to relax. Spider-Man, annoyed by Wolverine's drinking, points out that it would be easier to relax if his teammate wasn't about to finish an entire bottle of whiskey. Wolverine brushes it off, saying his healing factor will handle it quickly, and even offers Spider-Man a taste, claiming it will warm him up. Spider-Man, sticking to his principles, refuses, explaining that with his spider strength, drinking wouldn't be responsible. Wolverine, already feeling the effects of the alcohol, drunkenly laughs and tells Spider-Man his problem is always trying to be the good guy. Wolverine shares his own struggles, revealing how he used to think he was a good guy, but as he got older, he realized he wasn't. He reflects on how he's broken all of his promises to himself, and he doesn't know what the point of trying is anymore. Spider-Man, concerned, asks if Wolverine is okay, which Wolverine replies that he's fine, just a little hungover, and that his point was simply that you can't always be the good guy. Spider-Man hesitates, explaining that he's not always the good guy either, and reveals some of the struggles he's been dealing with lately. Wolverine, sensing something deeper, offers to listen, asking if Spider-Man has something on his chest. Spider-Man confesses that he kissed his best friend's girl. It wasn't an accident, he really likes her and wanted to kiss her, but he knows it's created a lot of problems with his friend. He wonders if Wolverine has ever been in a similar situation. Wolverine chuckles and assures him he's been there, even living through it. He tells Spider-Man that sometimes a man wants what he wants, and it's been that way since the Bible. He opens up about his own experience with Jean, admitting he chased after her for years, and though it didn't help his relationship with Scott, he couldn't help himself. He ends with a grin, saying he's always had a thing for redheads. Spider-Man shares that he too has a thing for redheads, but suddenly notices Wolverine eyeing the redhead with the man from earlier interaction. He panics, shouting at Wolverine to stop and asking what he's doing. Wolverine, undeterred, casually addresses the woman, calling her darling, which immediately causes the man she's with to stand up, furious. He accuses Wolverine of looking at his girl, and Spider-Man tries to calm things down, telling Wolverine to sit down while he handles it. The bartender steps in, telling them to leave since Polly, the angry man, is a regular, but Wolverine insists he likes it there and comments on his clown's cold hands. The situation escalates when the man pulls out brass knuckles, threatening Wolverine with violence if they don't leave. Spider-Man tries to defuse the tension with a joke, but the man punches him. Spider-Man dodges the punch, which lands on Wolverine instead. Wolverine responds by throwing a punch back, knocking the man down to the ground. Spider-Man, trying to downplay the situation, assures everyone that Paulie is fine, no harm done, but things quickly spiral out of control. Paulie's friends then rush to attack Wolverine, and Spider-Man sighs, realizing there's no stopping it now. Wolverine starts throwing punches, taking down everyone in his path. Spider-Man apologizes, saying Wolverine is usually better, though he admits that he can't lie. Wolverine is always like this. As Wolverine finishes handling the situation, he grabs his bottle of whiskey and asks, "That it?" Paulie, still reeling from the beating, says they don't know who they're messing with, but his female companion pulls him up and tells him to just leave. Paulie insists on continuing to threaten him, but Wolverine, clearly uninterested, simply replies with a bored, Yeah. Spider-Man, annoyed, questions what just happened. Wolverine responds that he was just blowing off some steam and tries to brush it off. But Spider-Man is not having it. He points out that he doesn't mix heroics with alcohol. Wolverine, clearly uninterested in the lecture, tells Spider-Man to sit down, but Spider-Man continues, emphasizing that as a superhero, Wolverine should know better. He says that people expect better from him, and honestly, he expects better too. He presses him again, asking if he's going to explain why he needed him tonight. Wolverine responds calmly, telling Spider-Man he does not need him for something. He needs him to sit and wait. Spider-Man sits, expressing his disappointment in Wolverine's behavior. Wolverine acknowledges, admitting that the fight might have been stupid. He then starts telling Spider-Man a story of his old World War II lieutenant, used to tell him about situations like this. The story is about a good guy, raised poor and surrounded by people who weren't wealthy, but were good-hearted. This man decided he was meant for something better, and wasn't going to settle for an ordinary girl like his father had. He wanted a beauty, a knockout, and so he stayed away from the neighborhood girls who would have been happy to be with him. He waited for years, despite people talking behind his back, because he was waiting for the perfect woman. Eventually, he found her. Everything he'd hoped for. She was a stunner with smooth skin and big eyes, and he chased her like his life depended on it. She eventually relented, but when the big moment came, he had no idea what to do. He kissed her with a dry mouth, fumbled through things he shouldn't have, and before he knew it, she left him unsatisfied, and he was left alone, regretting not letting the plain girls teach him a thing or two. Spider-Man interrupts, saying that he's waited longer than most and has never had any complaints. Wolverine explains that the story is an analogy, that sometimes not every fight seems worth fighting, but if you're too picky, you might not be ready for the important ones. He asks Spider-Man if he's ready. Before Spider-Man can respond, his spidey senses tingle, warning him of danger. The man from earlier enters the bar again, this time armed with a gun. Wolverine is shot in the head, but Spider-Man quickly reacts using his webs to snatch the gun away. As Spider-Man grabs the man stammers in disbelief, asking if Spider-Man isn't a clown. Spider-Man responds, "You see me smiling?" Spider-Man throws him aside, telling him to get up. The man, trembling, says, "That's impossible." Spider-Man responds, pointing out that the man picked 2 fights tonight that he couldn't win. Spider-Man's spidey sense tingles again. He turns to find Wolverine behind him, now enraged and seemingly lost to anger. Wolverine growls, ready to kill the man with his claws. Spider-Man quickly grabs Wolverine's hand before he can strike, shouting, "No, Logan, no! Logan, it's me! I'm not going to let you do it!" Wolverine, furious, growls, "Out of my way, lest you want to get cut too!" Spider-Man pleads, "I'm your friend. This isn't one of the important ones, okay? Let it go." As the man cries in fear, Wolverine's rage starts to subside. He reluctantly retracts his claws and returns to his normal state, muttering, "Sorry." Spider-Man, trying to lighten the mood, points out that Wolverine just got shot in the back of the head, so it's okay to be angry. Wolverine simply says he was more than mad. Spider-Man, relieved, says, "Oh, I knew you weren't going to hurt anybody." Wolverine grumbles, "Whatever you say." Spider-Man, trying to wrap up the chaotic night, asks how much longer he needs to stay. Wolverine glances at his watch and says, "It's 12:08. You can go. My birthday's over." Spider-Man, surprised, exclaims that the big emergency was Wolverine's birthday? Wolverine simply replies that he needed a drinking buddy, Spider-Man, still baffled, reminds him that he doesn't drink and asks if there wasn't anyone else in the X-Men that he could have hung out with. Wolverine explains that the X-Men are family to him, but Spider-Man counters that they're the ones he's supposed to be with on his birthday. Wolverine, however, points out that while the X-Men would die for him, they have no illusions about who or what he is. He walks out and Spider-Man quickly follows, trying to get him to talk. He asks why it had to be him and not someone else. Wolverine stops and answers, "Because you didn't think I'd do it." Confused, Spider-Man asks, "What?" Wolverine clarifies, "Back there, you didn't think I'd kill the guy. It's like you said, you expect better from me. Not many people do. Especially those I've fought with. You're a good guy. And you're dumb enough to think I am too. That's why." Spider-Man, a little taken aback, responds, "Oh, thanks, I guess?" Wolverine leaves and Spider-Man returns inside, apologizing for the mess. He offers to clean it up a bit, trying to make up for the chaos. Thank you very much again for watching this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video.